Most people think power comes from being liked, from being helpful, from being a good person. But what if I told you the people who rise the fastest, the ones who quietly control outcomes, careers, and entire rooms, don't just help others, they make others need them. And once someone needs you, truly depends on you, replacing you becomes almost impossible. Pause for a second and think about your life. Your job, your friendships, even your closest relationships. If you disappeared tomorrow, how easily could someone step in and take your place? That question alone reveals more about your power than anything else. There was a man named Daniel who worked at a fast-growing tech company. He was sharp, reliable, and always willing to step in when things went wrong. If there was a problem, Daniel fixed it. If someone was confused, Daniel explained it. He made sure everyone understood exactly what he was doing, so they could handle it themselves next time. At first, people loved him for it. He became known as the go-to guy, the one who saved the day. But over time, something shifted. People stopped coming to him. They didn't need him anymore. He had trained everyone to operate without him. So when the company hit financial trouble and layoffs began, Daniel's name was on the list. Not because he wasn't good, but because he was no longer essential. Now, in the same company, there was Sarah. She wasn't louder, smarter, or even more experienced than Daniel. But she played a different game. Sarah helped people, but she never gave away everything. She positioned herself carefully. She became the only person who fully understood certain systems, certain processes, certain relationships. When people came to her, she guided them, but she remained the center of the solution. Over time, she became deeply embedded in the company's operations. So when layoffs came, Sarah wasn't even considered. In fact, she was promoted. Losing her would have created too much risk. This idea comes straight from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Law 11 states, "Learn to keep people dependent on you." Greene puts it even more clearly when he says, "If you make yourself indispensable, you will be rewarded and your position will be secure." It's a simple sentence, but it carries a truth most people are uncomfortable admitting. We're taught that independence is strength, that helping others become independent is noble. And in many ways, that's true. But in the real world, especially in competitive environments, dependence creates leverage. Humans are wired to protect what they rely on. When someone consistently solves your problems, provides something you can't easily replace, or holds knowledge you don't have, you naturally keep them close. You value them more. You hesitate to lose them. The mistake most people make is believing that giving away everything they know will earn loyalty. It doesn't. It earns replacement. Because the moment someone can do everything you do without you, your value drops. You become optional. And optional people are the easiest to remove. Power isn't about doing everything for everyone. It's about doing something that no one else can easily replace. That's the difference between being useful and being indispensable. One gets appreciation. The other gets security, influence, and control. In business, this shows up everywhere. The people who last aren't just hardworking, they are strategically valuable. They hold critical knowledge, key relationships, or unique skills that others can't replicate overnight. They become the bridge between problems and solutions. Remove them, and things break. And when things break, companies hesitate to let them go. In relationships, the same principle applies, but it's more subtle. People stay connected to those who provide something rare, something they can't easily find elsewhere. It might be emotional stability, clarity, confidence, or even a sense of direction. When you become the source of something meaningful, something deeply felt, you become hard to replace. And in personal growth, this law turns inward. You build yourself into someone who has depth, skill, and presence. Someone who isn't easily replicated. At the same time, you remain aware of how your value fits into the lives of others. That awareness is what creates real leverage. But there's a line here, and crossing it leads to problems. Because this idea can become dangerous if misunderstood. If you try to create dependence by limiting others, by controlling them, or by making them weaker, it will eventually backfire. People don't like feeling trapped. They resent it. And when they get the chance, they leave, or worse, they turn against you. Real power doesn't come from making people helpless. It comes from making yourself so uniquely valuable that losing you feels like a risk they can't afford. That's the difference between manipulation and mastery. One destroys trust. The other builds quiet control. Daniel wanted to be liked. Sarah chose to be needed. That single difference changed everything about their outcomes. So ask yourself honestly, are you building a life where people simply appreciate you or one where they depend on you? Because appreciation fades over time. People get used to it. They adapt. But dependence creates something deeper. It creates hesitation, attachment, and leverage. And in a world where everyone is trying to prove themselves, the ones who quietly become indispensable don't need to fight for attention. They don't need to argue for their value. Their presence speaks for them. Their absence would be felt immediately. If you found this valuable, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And drop a comment below. What do you think about this idea? Is it a smart strategy for success, or does it go too far? Let me know what you want to see next.